Y'all won't believe what just went down in court today. It's honestly crazy. A situation that everyone thought was one way just took a huge turn, and it looks like Kirk's whole world is about to come crashing down. Trust me, if you're into drama, you better keep reading because this is some real-life mess that feels like it came straight out of a reality show. And we thought it couldn't get any worse for him. But things just flipped completely. So, here's the scoop. We already knew Kirk wasn't exactly the saint he was trying to make himself out to be. For weeks, he had been painting this picture of himself as the poor, innocent victim in a fight with Mendeecees. He kept claiming Mendeecees was lying about the whole situation, trying to ruin his name, and of course, the usual story, Kirk was the one who got attacked. But let me tell you, this new evidence just shook everything up. A piece of CCTV footage was submitted to the court today, and it absolutely destroyed Kirk's whole defense. This footage shows exactly what happened during that infamous altercation between him and Mendeecees. And let's just say, it's not looking good for Kirk. Let me paint the picture for you. This all went down at a high-profile event, one of those fancy industry gatherings where everyone's dressed to the nines, sipping overpriced drinks, and pretending not to care about the drama unfolding around them. But out of nowhere, there's an altercation, and the room goes from chill to chaos. People are screaming, drinks are flying everywhere, and everyone's trying to figure out what's happening. At first, it was unclear who started it. Witnesses were all over the place with their stories. Some said Mendeecees was the one who threw the first punch, while others claimed it was Kirk who was the aggressor. Kirk, of course, was on social media, posting about how he was just trying to defend himself. But now, with the CCTV footage out in the open, his whole narrative is falling apart. This footage, straight from the cameras at the venue, allegedly shows Kirk starting the fight. That's right, Kirk is seen walking up to Mendeecees with what looks like some serious energy. It's the kind of energy that says, "I'm about to start something," and sure enough, the altercation quickly escalates. At first, it just looks like they're having a heated exchange of words. Nothing too wild, just a little chest puffing. But then, bam! Kirk swings first. Yep, Kirk threw the first punch and then turned around, playing the victim, saying he was attacked. Now, how are you the victim if you're the one who started it? Somebody explain that to me. As you can imagine, things got out of hand fast. Security had to rush in to break it up, and it was full-on chaos. The room was wild, people were screaming, drinks were thrown, and of course, cameras were flashing everywhere. Kirk's story, which he had been pushing so hard, suddenly fell apart. Before this footage came out, Kirk was out there claiming he was attacked, that it was all a setup. He even said Mendeecees was trying to ruin him. But how are you the victim when the footage clearly shows you throwing the first punch? Yeah, that's not adding up. And, of course, social media had a field day. People wasted no time dragging him for the lie. Comments were flooding in left and right, calling Kirk out for being a liar. One tweet said, "Not Kirk out here lying when the footage just clocked him. Sir, you're the setup." Another comment read, "Kirk playing the victim but forgot cameras exist. That man is cooked." And honestly, they're right. The internet has no mercy. Now, let's talk about Mendeecees for a second because, honey, he was living for this moment. Word on the street is that when the CCTV footage was played in court, Mendeecees was sitting back, completely unbothered. Imagine being the one who's been accused of starting the fight, only for the footage to come out and show that your opponent was actually the one who started it. I would be sitting there, popcorn in hand too. Sources say that Mendeecees had this big, smug smile on his face, like, "I told y'all so." It was honestly the type of energy that screams, "I'm about to win this case." And if you ask me, it's looking like Mendeecees is about to take the W. But now let's get into what this means for Kirk moving forward. First of all, the legal consequences are serious. This isn't just some industry beef anymore. This is happening in a courtroom. If the judge sees this footage and decides that Kirk lied under oath, that's perjury, and we all know that's a big deal. Plus, once your credibility is shot in this industry, it's over. You're done. Gone. Nobody will take you seriously anymore. Kirk's reputation? Yeah, It's hanging by a thread right now. And hold on, because it gets even worse. Just when we thought it couldn't get any crazier, a second bombshell dropped in court today. More evidence came to light, and this time it's in the form of text messages. Yeah, you heard that right, text messages. Apparently, just days before the altercation went down, Kirk had been texting people about how he was going to handle Mendeecees. How are you going to say you were attacked when the text messages show you were planning the whole thing? One of the texts said, "Don't worry, I got this under control." He won't see it coming. What does that even mean, Kirk? You were planning something, weren't you? And it gets even worse. Another text message allegedly shows Kirk talking to someone about how if things went down, he needed someone to back him up, saying, "I can't take the fall alone." At this point, it's clear this wasn't some random fight. This was planned. And when these texts were presented in court, sources say the room went completely silent. Kirk? He looked like he saw a ghost. He was sweating like he knew he was done for. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was over there, sitting back with a smug look, arms crossed like he knew exactly what was about to happen. It's the kind of energy that says, "I told you so." And at that moment, everyone in the room knew Kirk was in serious trouble. So now we have two huge pieces of evidence, the CCTV footage and the leaked text messages. And if that wasn't enough, there's more. Apparently, Kirk's wife just got dragged into this mess. Yeah, the one person who's been riding for him through all of this is now being pulled into the drama. According to sources, she knew about the plan before the fight even happened. She was allegedly texting people saying, "I told him not to do it, but he never listens." Not even his wife can defend him now. When your own spouse is out here admitting you were planning something shady, that's bad news. So what does this all mean for Kirk? Honestly, it's not looking good. The evidence is stacking up against him, and the judge is starting to look at him like he's a liar. The prosecution is pushing for the maximum penalty, and at this point, it doesn't seem like anyone is going to defend him. He's burned all his bridges. His career? Finished? His reputation? Destroyed? His freedom? Well, that's looking pretty shaky too. If the judge decides that Kirk lied under oath, he could be facing serious jail time. At this point, it's hard to see how he's going to wiggle out of this one. But wait, because there's more. Word on the street is that there's one final piece of evidence about to drop, and if this is true, it's about to flip everything upside down. Apparently, there are secret audio recordings, and get this, somebody from Kirk's inner circle flipped on him. One of his so-called friends decided they weren't going down with him and spilled everything. They admitted that Kirk had been planning this whole thing from the start. They even said they tried to warn him, but Kirk didn't listen. And guess what? The feds have been listening to these recordings too. Yeah, the feds. So, if Kirk thought this was over, he's in for a rude awakening. When these audio recordings got played in court, sources say Kirk looked like he was about to pass out. The tapes were so damning, they left no room for excuses. The whole courtroom went dead silent when they heard Kirk's voice saying, "Ain't nobody going to touch me. I got people in my pocket." And in another recording, he basically admits to planning the whole incident. Yikes, there's no way he's getting out of this. So, now the question is, what happens next? Is Kirk done for? With all this evidence, CCTV footage, leaked text messages, secret audio recordings, and his own people flipping on him, it seems like Kirk's career is over. The prosecution is pushing for the maximum penalty, and at this point, it's hard to imagine a world where Kirk gets out of this mess without serious consequences. This is the end of the road for him. But what do y'all think? Do you think Kirk still has a chance to bounce back from this? Or is his life completely ruined? Drop your thoughts in the comments.